In this week's AMA, I'm going to talk about the fear of putting yourself out there. This comes up so often, whether it is putting yourself out there on social media or asking for podcasts and interviews or newspaper columns, or whether it's just fear of kind of talking about what you do in some way, or fear of creating online resources and then selling them. So I'm going to share with you 5 reasons why people hold themselves back and don't put themselves out there. And then I'm going to share with you 4 things that you can focus on and you can do if this is something that you struggle with and you want to improve, overcome it, get better. So the first thing, 5 reasons why people fear putting themselves out there, procrastinate about putting themselves out there and don't do it. The first one is you don't feel expert enough. You have course paralysis. You keep doing courses because you feel like after this course, I will be expert enough to then share what I know. And then that course happens and you go, oh no, actually, I'll do this course. And then after that course, I'll be ready. And you're never ready. The second reason is that everybody is already saying it. So why do I need to bother? Let's not. So you have an idea of something that you want to put out there, and then everyone else is saying the same thing, talking about the same topic, sharing their tips and strategies. So you don't, because you think there's no place for you, there's no room in the market, and everybody already has the information that they need. So I don't need to share it. So you don't. The next one is kind of related. You don't know what to share. So I struggled with this one. I've always been really good at talking about the business side of things, sharing my tips, sharing my support. I've been absolutely rubbish at sharing anything about me because I thought it wasn't relevant and nobody was really interested. So for years, I didn't talk about myself, didn't talk about my opinions, didn't talk about my hobbies, kind of, anything about me in any of my social media or anything like that. I literally just kept it to business. I wasn't really sure what to share, what would be relevant, what would be interesting, those sorts of things. The next one is, what if people don't like it? So they have a real fear that they're going to put something out there and then somebody's going to say you're wrong, or I don't like it, or I don't agree. And that can be quite wounding and hurtful, and they don't want to put themselves forward for that. So they just don't put it out there. And the last one is hiding. It means that you actually have to identify as a therapist and actually do the work. And that in itself can be scary and mean that you unconsciously don't do the marketing or don't do the stuff that you need to do, because you don't want to own the fact that you then have to be said therapist and you have to do the actual client work. And for some reason, you feel that that is something you can't do, or it feels scary. So if you experience any of those, I want to tell you that you are normal for a start. I have been a mindset specialist for 10 years now, and over those years I've helped a number of therapists and consultants and coaches, and I see it a lot. I see all of those a lot. So you are not alone, and you are not broken, and you are not unusual in what you feel and how you experience it. It is a learning curve, and it is a step to take. For any business, any person in business, it's a step to build your confidence to be able to get yourself out there. So what tips do I have for you? What would you do if this is something that you are struggling with? I've categorized them as 4 different categories. The first category is self-belief. Now, you are an intelligent, clever human being. You don't have this fear for no reason. You didn't wake up one day and suddenly go, oh, I think this would be a really good idea. There's a reason why you're not doing it. And usually in your story, which is your life, your history, your experiences, there may be loads and loads of things that contribute to the way that you are acting and being. So it might be that you had certain experiences within your family that make you feel like the black sheep, or make you feel inferior, or like your personality isn't worth sharing, or when you've shared your personality, people made fun of you, or never feel like you fit, all these kinds of things. You might have shared it before and it's not gone very well. All of these kind of times that have gone into you feeling like, for whatever reason, it's not right for you to do, it's not appropriate for you to do, it's not something you can do, or if you do it, it's going to go wrong. So the first thing that I recommend is that you sit down and do some self-reflection over all of your stories and why it is that you believe and act the way that you do around this particular thing, because that can be really empowering. You can then sit back and look at it. I love sometimes kind of writing them on post-it notes and popping in the fire pit, kind of, you know, something cathartic about burning old habits. You could sit and rationalize with them, realize that you don't need them anymore, and you can kind of let them go, move on, all those kinds of things. So I do think that you need to have some time for self-reflection over your reasons and do some work in terms of letting go of those reasons. After that, you can do some affirmations. So write some affirmations that fit with the new way of being, the new way of thinking, that you can read every day. Put them on your mirror, put them at the back of the door, put them somewhere that you are going to read every day, and then read them, because that then builds a new and healthy habit in terms of the way that you're thinking about that situation. So that's all self-belief related. The second one is comparisons. Now, this is something that I did for years. I am a people-pleasing kind of personality, and also I'm externally referenced, which means that the way in which I validate who I am is by referencing the words of other people and not myself. So because of that, I would look outwardly to the world and compare myself against everybody and all the experts in my field, and always come up short, always feel inferior, always feel like I wasn't good enough and I couldn't do it, and all those things. So if that is you, then my tip for that is to focus 100% on your client. So you want to bring a client on board and follow their journey the whole way through. So you want to answer their questions, give them the support, give them the answers, give them the help, and do it the whole way through the journey. So yes, they might have heard that message from someone else, but no one's going to say that message like you. So the minute that you stop focusing on everybody else and you just focus on your customer and you just serve your customer, it suddenly becomes a lot easier. The third one is around comfort zones. You might want to have a look at your comfort zone, and you might want to have a look at the thing that you're trying to do. Kind of where does that sit in terms of outside of your comfort zone? A lot of times people are picking something that is too far outside their comfort zone for a first step. So then you end up having a huge fear reaction and kind of, you know, hating the whole experience. Being too hard on yourself and pushing yourself too far too quickly. Ask yourself, what is the next simplest, most manageable step that you can take, and just focus on that and just take that. Because you can do that and go, oh, that wasn't so bad, and then come back to your comfort zone to resettle your system, and then do that again until you get comfortable with it, and then you get comfortable with something more, and then something more. So if you feel like the thing that you're trying to do is just way too far out of your comfort zone, then sit and have a little bit of reflection time on that and think, okay, what is the next simplest, most manageable step I can take, and then just do that. And the last one is less thinking, more doing. So this works really, really well for me. I don't sit around in my head thinking about these things before I take on a project. So learning to ride a motorbike or building my shed out of pallets, my office out of pallets. People say to me about the office, like, I'd love to build myself an office. Could I have your plans? There wasn't any plans, because we literally grabbed hold of some pallets and was like, okay, this pallet here, and just built it. We didn't sit and think about it and think, what am I doing and how am I doing it, and kind of go through all the ins and outs of it. Because the more that you do that, the more your head will come up with all the reasons why you shouldn't do it, can't do it, and you talk yourself out of it really, really quickly. So effectively, all I do is do the doing. So I'm like, what's the next step? Do it. What's the next step? Do it. What's the next step? Do it. And I spend very little mental energy thinking about what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. I just say yes and do it. And if I'm signing up to do a talk or something like that, if my brain goes into, oh my God, what happens if this, what happens if that, what is it? I use thought stopping. No, we're not spending mental energy thinking like that. And I just refocus it on something else. So I spend a hell of a lot of time not thinking, not getting in my head, and more spending that time and that energy doing the actions and the things. So I hope you found that video useful, and you can go away and put some of those things into action so that you can increase your confidence in terms of getting out there and sharing your expertise with the world. And I will see you in the next AMA video.